Hey, welcome back to On the Peg with me, your host, the one, the only, the eyebrow-raising, the bearded toyholic, also known as the Mad Montreal Man, and we have a very special show today. And just to begin right off the bat, this episode of On the Peg is brought to you by Shane. Shout out to Shane, my number one fan. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. So this show is dedicated to you. To you, Shane, because we're doing your favorite hero of all time today, 2 action figures, and yes, they are both movie related. We're going to start off with Batman 1989, and this is the one that is the cape that opens up, apparently hard to get. I got the only one that GameStop had, at my GameStop. High demand apparently, but they were nice enough to put it on hold for me. The other one I got, of course, Shane, keeping with the movie theme, because I'm pretty sure you mentioned this one, but was it a dream or was it a nightmare Batman? That's right, I got the gold labeled Nightmare Batman. Also apparently hard to find. We got these guys. And this is, like I said, this episode is thanks to Shane. So Shane, what do you say we get to it? We get my friend and your friend, Dr. Scalpel, and let's free Tim Burton's Batman out of the package. Michael Keaton, you shall be free momentarily. Alright, I'll finish taking Michael Keaton Batman out of the package. It won't take me as long as you think, because edits. Put them in the close-ups, but you do have a lot of accessories. You've got, of course, 2 throwing stars, and yes, the ones I think that came with a Robin. You have a bat grappling gun, a batarang, a whole bunch of spare hands, and I didn't take it out yet, but you also have the card and, of course, the base. As for Batman himself, right off the bat, I will tell you, warm up the hands. Warm up the hands if you want to get that effect. Yep, you got to warm up the hands. But once you do have it, though, it is really, it looks pretty good from afar. Up close, of course, it's, obvious he's holding sticks. But you can imagine up on a shelf, dim lighting, it would look really cool. The back, I mean, it looks cool. It's a shame the cape's not wired and it's a bit of a weird fabric. Body buck, we've seen it before, but however, somehow it works for the Batman 89. And I'm not a big fan of movie action figures. Anyone who's watched the show knows full well I'm not a big fan of them. I have some, I buy them, but for the most part, I don't go, wow, that's a good one. You ready for a shocker? Because I've got the Batman 89 Batmobile, guess where he's going? That's right! Front of the shelf, right in front of that Batmobile. It's going to look so good. And articulation is good as well. I mean, the head seems a little bit big, but then again, it is Michael Keaton. No, it's actually a pretty good head sculpt too as well. I mean, there's a little bit of paint bleed on the side. I don't care. Overall, this is a pretty good Batman. I do recommend, if you can find them, get them. And I'm going to leave them with the cape up like this because up on the top shelf, you might not notice it as much. It'll be like, okay, it's Batman. But no, this one's a good one. I'm happy I got them. So thank you, Shane, by the way, for sponsoring this episode. And yes, I'm going to plug Shane a lot this episode. But no, this is a good one. The details in the boots are nice in there. There's nothing on the sides here. The belt, nice color. Wouldn't mind a little bit of brushing on the belt, but that's definitely Batman. Good one. And McFarlane Toys, if you had done movie figures like this all along, I might have actually liked a lot more of them. Just saying. I mean, the only improvement I can see with this is if it was a wired cape, so when you don't have them like that, you'd be able to pose a cape, because when those aren't in, it kind of just droops. But overall, I'm a happy man. Let's move on to the next one. Now, I was not a big fan, even though I'm old enough to see them before my editor makes a comment. I saw the original Batman movie in the theater. I went to the premiere in Montreal. Same thing for Batman 89. Val Kilmer's Batman, George Clooney's Batman. I've seen them all! Look, I've seen every single Batman movie. And normally at advanced screenings. Those were the days. I have to admit, Christian Bale's Batman, I kind of liked him. He was a bit different. It wasn't as campy. It was serious, more dark, and like, you know, the Batman that I remember reading in the comic books. So I did like him. As for this sequence, I wasn't really crazy about the nightmare sequence in, you know, Batman, but it did give me a kind of a good look. So Shane, our friend Dr. Scalpel again, and let's get the nightmare Batman. And unlike the other McFarlane toy that's called Nightmare Batman, this one's just based on the movie. So let's take him out of the package, and we'll be back after I get him completely out. Well, we'll start off with the card. Disappointed. They just really, same card as before, nothing new. They didn't say, like, you know, Batman as seen by Scarecrow in the movie. Does come with we've seen it before, the grappling gun, the gold batarang, a punching hand, and I just dropped the other one. Unscripted. And I know you're looking for a bald spot. There's not one there. Comes with the hand that has the built-in batarangs. But let's talk about the figure, shall we? Well, you saw in the close-up, he does have a wired cape, which is kind of cool. Same body book as the regular Dark Knight from the movie. However, what's important with this one is the face sculpt. I mean, that is a pretty good face sculpt. It looks a lot like what you see in the backdrop of the close-up. It looks a lot like what you see in the movie. Just not leathery kind of feeling, but that is a pretty good, Nightmare Batman, if you think about it. It is a very stiff figure. I do like the fact that the shoulders aren't stuck up here. They're actually on the arms. You can move the shoulders. It is stiff, though. It is a very stiff action figure. But, no, this one is also a really good one. The fact that the cape is wired really helps. I'm running out of room on my Batman movie shelves, which is the top of the shelving in here. But, Shane, front of the shelf, just because of the head sculpt is so good. It's a wired cape. You can really wrap the cape around them, which really helps with that look to them. And that's it. That's it for the show today. Really nice little show. Definitely a good pick me up, if you want to say that way. But if you can find them, pick them up. I do recommend them. And I rarely recommend picking up movie figures. You know that. But that's it for the show. So basically, as always, do your best for your emotional being, your mind, and of course your physical health. Do your best to stay healthy. And when you do have not one, but two Batmans that are front of the shelf, it's a good way to stay happy. And when you have a number one fan, like I consider like a brother to me, like Shane, who does something like sponsor this episode, it's a good way, of course, to stay positive. And on that note, we'll see you next week for another episode of On the Peg. So until then, take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend. Oh, if you're wondering how you can be shouted out to like I did for Shane today, really simple. Go to the GoFundMe Save the On the Peg Show, and figure it out from there. And I will shout out to the next person who does it as well, because, like I said before, I want to keep this show going. So, hey, if you want a shout out, go to the GoFundMe, and we'll see you once again next week. Until then, once again, take care of yourselves. No, not a blooper, just giving you guys a sneak peek at what's going to be on next week's episode. Partially sponsored by Shane. We are doing, guess what, more Batmans. We're doing Justice Lord Batman. And I finally tracked one down, Batman 1 million. So tune in next week for another episode of On the Peg. And like I said before, if you want me to shout you out, just go to the GoFundMe, and we'll see you next week.